Ruskin and Zach with you here from the Eat My Catfish studios on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. This is your drive home powered by Mr. Sparky.
Need a licensed electrician to service your home? Give us a jingle or just use this one.
You don't have to put up with anyone like it. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
For local pros, call Mr. Sparky.
Look, another player's rung the bell. That means he did his personal best.
Woo pig.
All right, big weekend coming up. Woo pig indeed. As Arkansas hosts Vanderbilt, and I'll channel my best Mike Greenberg here. We're going to visit with Charles Sidney Carpenter now, better known to one and all as Bubba Carpenter here. He'll be on the call with Phil on many of these stations throughout the weekend. Good afternoon, sir.
What's going on, fellas?
And we're doing good.
Hanging out.
We're doing good.
When was the last time somebody called you Charles Sidney?
Well, I think it was the last time my mom got really mad at me. She was the only person that was allowed to call me that. But I'll let you guys do it though. You guys run the show here.
Did your mother ever call you like weird names? Like my mom, when she get really pissed off, would go, "Look here, Chucky Brown," and I'm like,
Chucky Brown.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what? No, but when she called me Charles Sidney, I knew I better snap too, because that meant I'd done something really bad. And so, I knew I better straighten up when that happened.
That's true in all of life. When the middle name comes out, you're in trouble. You've either been called out by a parent or you've been arrested or something has happened bad.
I did this to my mom was upset with something I did last week, and I'm like, look, if you've got a complaint, please complain to the manufacturer. And she got mad.
Good luck with that.
It took her a minute to figure out I was talking about her.
So, Bubba, as we look at this series this weekend, and it feels totally different than a few weeks ago, where I think we did that thing we always do, where it's the April kind of slump for Razorback baseball, and people are like, well, maybe this isn't going to be that good of a postseason. And now all of a sudden they get the win at Auburn, and now it feels like everything's been figured out, and they're ready to heat up for May.
Well, I don't know. I never doubted us the whole time, guys. It's funny how you lose one game to like the Missouri State. Everyone's like, oh, no, the sky's falling. That was just a Tuesday midweek game. We had a really tough series at A&M. We lost the series, but we battled. We could have easily won that series. This is a team, though, that you look at where we're at. We're 2 games up in the West, and we still haven't played our best baseball. We're just now starting to hit our stride and come together at the right time. And I like where we're at right now.
Are you? You talk about them playing their best baseball now. Are you concerned that that there's a mindset that come the end of May they're just going to flip the switch and they get into postseason mode?
Well, no, I like the fact. So the thing about Dave Van Horn teams, if you watch Dave Van Horn teams, every year they tend to do this. They start out and they get a little bit better, and we tend to peak at just the right time. I think last year was an exception to that. I think we peaked in the SEC tournament last year. I think that we went there, we played our best baseball, we came back home for a regional and super regional, and I think the guys were tired. I think a few guys kind of were slumping a little bit at the plate, but I don't see that happening this year. I think right now, I just see us getting better every game, and boy, that's what you want to see. It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Bubba Carpenter's our guest here on Ruskin and Zach. Robert Moore has he's picked it up, particularly last weekend down at Auburn. Is he kind of the litmus test? If he heats up over the next few weeks, is that indicative of this team really, like you said, getting towards playing its best baseball of the year?
I think so. I think that 3-run homer he hit against Auburn over the green monster in left field, I think that was huge. Just watching Robert run around the bases was priceless. He works so hard, puts in so much time. To see him have that swing at that moment of the game was huge. And he's a guy. Even though his average and some of his numbers are a little down, his home run totals are down, he's still driving in runs. He finds a way to get runs across the plate, and he's a big time player. And so big time players show up on weekends like this, and so I think Robert's going to be fine. If you look at his statistics, he's had more hard outs than anyone on the team. He's hit a lot of balls really hard this year that have either gone just to the fence or line outs to first base, just a lot of loud outs this year that a few feet one way or the other, and you're looking at totally different numbers. But he's a good player, and I expect him to show up big this weekend, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
When you look around the league, this has been an odd year for the league because there's one runaway team, then Arkansas is in that two-hole, and then everybody else is kind of grouped together. Are we seeing the league, the bottom half of the league starting to rise up, and maybe it's more competitive than in past years, or is the league slumping a little minus the two division leaders?
Well, I don't think it's slumping, fellas. I think there's just so much competition right now. You've got all these older players because of the COVID seniors. You got the transfer portal. You're seeing some of the best college baseball you're ever going to see right now. I mean, the talent out there is just ridiculous. But what's crazy is to think you're looking at Mississippi State, who won the national championship last year, at the bottom of the SEC West. Ole Miss was a preseason number one. They're down at the bottom of the SEC West. It's crazy to see how it's kind of flip-flopped a little bit. But I don't think it's bad baseball. I think it's just some of these other teams are playing really good baseball right now.
Bubba Carpenter is our guest here at on Ruskin and Zach. Bubba, I like this year's pitching staff much more than last year's pitching staff because I think there's a lot more mixing and matching they can do when they get into one of these regional or super regional weekends. You're the expert. What do you see?
Oh, absolutely. I like our three starters. People were down on Jackson Wiggins. Jackson Wiggins is going to pitch in the big leagues for a long time. He's got elite stuff. Hagen Smith's a freshman, doesn't pitch like a freshman. Connor Nolan's just a beast on Friday nights. He's just got that makeup of a Friday night pitcher. But then you look at the bullpen, how it's come together. Evan Taylor's been great out of the bullpen. Brady Tigert, for a freshman to stand out there and do what he does, he wants the ball. When the game's on the line, he wants the ball in his hand. Just a beast out there on the mound. And then you've got Zach Morris has stepped up and done great. Will McIntyre's come on here at the end. Will McIntyre's opponents are hitting 176 against him. He's a guy that was the 20th pitcher on the Razorback staff to see the field this year. He was the last guy on the staff to actually get out and get some mound time. And he's done great. And so I really we've got so many options. You still got Zebulon Vermillion, Cole Ramage still, can come in and throw that curveball and get outs. We've got a whole lot of options in the bullpen. And if you look at our staff compared to other staffs, I'll take our staff any day. Now, with that being said, Vandy's coming in. They're only allowing a 208 batting average against their pitching staff. But, I'll still take our guys any day. They're a little bit top-heavy in their pitching staff and in their lineup. But I really like where we're at, guys. And it's neat to see how everything starts to come together at the end of the season. All the pieces in that bullpen, kind of everyone's starting to find their role down there, and it's exciting. It's exciting to see it this time of year.
Are we making too much out of the balls and strikes calls? You sit and watch TrackMan. For those of us that have, never been in the batter's box and sat and, you're a hitter. Are we making too much out of it, fans from pitch to pitch?
All right. Usually, here's what I do. I coach a lot, guys, and I tell my guys, look, if the umpire affects the game, you didn't do enough to take care of your own what you can control. You can't control that. Take care of what you can control. But it's been bad. With that being said, you look at this past weekend, Michael Turner's hitting. He hits the catcher's mitt. Catcher's interference. It's obvious. I don't know if y'all saw it or not. They didn't call it. Well, he ends up getting a base hit to left, ends up getting on second base, and then he's in between first and second. They called interference obstruction on him running to second base. It wasn't even close. It was a terrible call. That was huge at that point in the game. We had bases loaded, nobody out. Well, that changed that whole inning. But back on the strike zone thing, I'm surprised at how bad it's been. It really is. And I try not to be. Look, I'm a glass half full guy. Actually, my glass is 3/4 full. But when I'm sitting there and I watch one of our hitters get called out on a 3-2 pitch, 5 inches off the plate with two runners at second and third, 2 outs, I get frustrated. And it's just been bad. And I think the thing is when it's consistent, okay, be consistently bad. But I see it kind of evolving throughout the game. It starts out with one zone, and by the ninth inning, the zone's totally different, and that's what you don't want to see. And look, I've umpired one game in my life. I was freaking terrible, and I'll never do it again, but I knew I was bad, And, I just feel like these guys, and I get along with umpires. When I coach during the summer, and, I'm out there, and I get along with these guys because I realize how hard it is. But my only thing is just be consistent, Just be consistent. That's all we ask out of a guy.
We've heard that, and I don't know if this is how it is at college, but we've heard this on about Major League umpiring. So I assume it's similar that all of these different tracking things. You know, on TV you see the box on the screen on a Major League game or TrackMan, like we've talked about. Like that's not what the umpires are using to grade themselves. So what is their strike zone if they're not using the one that everyone has ready access to? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, that's a good question, and I've read a couple articles about that, and I really don't know. I wish I had a good answer for you, but they're graded off of what the strike zone is, and the plate's 17 inches wide for a reason. You know, don't call it 21 inches. You know, if it's off the plate, it's off the plate. You know, now top to bottom's one thing. Everyone, you know, it fluctuates a little bit. You know, what's a high strike, what's a low strike. You know, depending on, you know, who's standing in the batter's box. If Aaron Judge is in the box, he's obviously got a different strike zone than Robert Moore. But I tell you what, you can't miss is the in and out, 17 inches. That's if it's off the plate, it's off the plate. Don't give me that. Oh, we're going to give a ball and a half off the plate today. That's where I think people get frustrated with that. Is just we want the strike to be a strike, and that's it. But as far as how they're evaluating them, I know the SEC is evaluating their umpires. You know, there's been some really low grades. There's been some grades, 86%, you know, 87, 88%. That's a pretty bad percentage.
Yeah,
that means you're missing a whole lot of pitches in the course of a game.
Yeah.
What's the hardest pitch to hit? I got into an argument last night with my cousin about this, and I think it's an inside fastball, a cutter, something moving in towards your hands. I think that's the hardest thing to hit. He thinks it's a slider away because you're not ready for it.
I tell you what, the fastball in, the cutter in, anything inside is low-hanging fruit, fellas. You got to play pepper with a scoreboard when you get that pitch inside. The one that's the hard one is anything in that lower down and away quadrant of the strike zone. You've got 9 segments to the strike zone. That down and away one, whether it's a changeup, a backdoor breaker, a two-seamer, that's the hardest pitch to hit. And you can't do a whole lot with that. All you can do is hope to just, you know, foul it off or maybe poke it down the opposite field line. But that's a tough pitch to hit. That's one that I always struggled with. That's why I stood right on top of the plate. That way that outside pitch seemed middle to me.
Yeah.
Did you ever get drilled because you were standing on top of the plate?
Yeah, occasionally. But, hey, I got to go to first base. So, you know, our little guys, I coach my son's 10-year-old team. When they get hit by a pitch, they get a sticker on their helmet. And that makes the hurt go away, fellas.
Yeah, you don't
hey,
rub it.
Funny,
don't rub it.
I will tell you a quick story, though. First time my son got hit last year, 9-year-old kid pitch. I told him all along, hey, the fear of getting hit is worse than getting hit. And the very first time he got hit on the top of the foot. And I don't know if you've ever been hit on the top of the foot. It hurts like crazy. Mm-hmm. And he tells me, he goes, Dad, you lied to me. And I'm like, what do you mean, buddy? He goes, you said the fear of getting hurt was worse than getting hit is worse than getting hit. He said, that hurt bad. And I said, buddy, that's probably the worst one you're going to have, because I got hit on top of the foot once, and it paralyzed my whole left leg for a while. I felt like I was going to die, like I was going to have to amputate it. But anyway, yeah, we sometimes you stand on top of the plate. But I tell you what it does, it puts pressure on the other pitcher. Even SEC pitchers don't like it. You look at Robert Moore. I mean, he stands across the batter's box line, and pitchers don't like it. They don't like guys standing that close.
Well, no, I mean, the fear of hitting a batter inside almost takes the inside pitch away.
Yeah. How much? Yeah. How much, Bubba, do you wish that 3 games, Baum-Walker Stadium this season, Arkansas versus Tennessee?
Hey, I would love that. Honestly, that's the only thing missing from this season's schedule is having Tennessee here at home. You know, we talk about peaking at the right time. I think Tennessee's already peaked. I think they peaked a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. But, you know, you watch Tennessee, and they're the team that you kind of love to hate right now because of all the antics that goes on. You know, we talk about Ole Miss all the time, how much we don't like Ole Miss, but you got Tony Vitella. You know, I'm sure y'all saw the bat flip a couple weeks ago where the bat went over to their dugout and he tossed it over in the middle of the other team. You know, I judge everyone off of Dave Van Horn. Would Dave do that? You know, maybe other radio guys listen to you guys say, would Zach and Rustin do that? I don't know if that's the case or not.
Answer to that question is usually yes.
But I look at it, I say, would Dave do that? Would Dave Van Horn do that? No, hell no. Dave wouldn't pick up a bat and throw it in the other teams, you know, while they're celebrating a home run. And so, but to answer your question, I would love to have Tennessee here at Baum Walker for a weekend. That would be absolutely crazy. Now, it's going to be awesome this weekend. When Vandy rolls in, it's always a good weekend, but I'd love to see Tennessee, and I hope we get a chance at them later in the year.
22-year-old kid threw a no-no in the majors the other night. His last name's Detmers, threw for the Angels against the Rays. And Ruskin's bored with no-hitters. He thinks it doesn't count unless it's a perfect game.
Yeah, give me a perfect game.
Would you
Come
please
on.
tell him how hard it is to throw a no-hitter against major league hitters?
If he's bored with a no-hitter, he needs to go watch a soccer game, and then he'll understand the definition of bored. How can you be bored with a no-hitter? I'll tell you, it's so hard to do, first of all. I was watching the end of that game, and I was so happy for the kid. I don't know anything about this pitcher, but I was so happy for him that he got that no-hitter. I was actually sitting there with my son watching the end of it. So that's awesome. But, hey, Rustin, buddy, it's not boring.
Okay.
That's baseball. It's exciting. Every pitch matters. You look at I don't even know how many pitches he threw that game, but you look, every pitch in that game matters, just like in a Razorback weekend. Dave Van Horn talks about it every time. Every pitch, every swing, every play can make a difference in the game, and that's why a no-hitter is so special.
I did see that, is it Syndergaard that's there now?
Yep.
Yeah, he made some comment like this is a real no-hitter, which was, I guess, a shot at his former team who had a combined no-hitter a few weeks ago, and that was that seemed like that was kind of interesting. But, yeah, we haven't a perfect game in 10 years in Major League Baseball. It'd be cool to see one. And
He's bored with the no-hitter.
Clayton Kershaw had one, and then they took him out because it was 29 degrees in Minneapolis that day. But
Hey, Bubba, how's your arm feeling? I mean, can you still throw a little bit?
Yeah, come on up to the facility. I'll carve you up a little
Well,
bit.
no. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send about 9 baseballs with you, and if the Whistler is there this weekend, just fire away, dude. And if you run out, I'll bring you more.
that's right.
Hey, that's a deal. I tell you what, I don't throw very hard anymore, but I can definitely hit my spot.
That's
And
all
so
I need
tell
you
me
to
where
do.
he's at, and I'll nail him.
Yeah, just one shot. One shot will pretty much shut him up.
That's right. Yeah, this is. I like how he wants to be left alone, and yet he has a van with his name on the side
Now
of
there's
it.
2 of them.
Yeah.
There's 2. So if you knock one out, you're gonna have to go. You're gonna have to recalibrate, get back in the pen,
It's
and
like
hit
when
another one.
celebrities call the paparazzi to tell them where they're going to be, and then
Exactly.
they get mad at the paparazzi for showing up. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, leave me alone. I just want to lead a normal life, please. All right. Well, it's going to be.
Well, hang on. We told Bubba we would give him a minute. When we were talking about shower beers.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Bubba's one of the people that has enjoyed a shower beer in a clubhouse.
Okay, so, all right, so you texted that to me. Yeah, so after games, like every once in a while, we had clubhouse managers. Every once in a while, they'd bring you a beer in the shower, and you just set the beer there, and you just enjoy your shower after the game, and drink a nice cold one. It's a good way to kind of cool off and wind down after a game. I wish I had a better story for you, like maybe my wife brought it to me or somebody, but yeah, it was my clubhouse manager. He would bring them to us in the shower. So he was a good guy, and that's part of the game.
We got so many texts that day from listeners
It's a thing.
that were like, I have one after I mow. I have one after work at 5 o'clock every day. Like, I could not believe the phenomenon known as the shower beer, but it's a real thing.
We'll see. There you go. So you've been missing out.
I
man.
have. I'm going to have to try one
Have you
now.
considered bringing the shower beer back to the Carpenter household?
You know what? I might have to bring that up to my wife. We haven't.
No.
had
Don't do
talk,
that.
but
Don't
yeah.
don't do that. No.
This could be a marketing opportunity. You could get your own beer out of this, Bubba. Bubba Carpenter's shower
That's right.
beer.
There you go.
That's right.
You're
We'll
entitled
make
to
up a
NIL
t-shirt.
That's right. Yes, that's right. All right. It's going to be 3 big ones this weekend at Baum Walker Stadium with Arkansas and Vanderbilt. And Phil and Bubba will have the call on many of these stations. Thank you, Bubba. We had fun as always.
All right, it's going to be a fun weekend, fellas. Come on out. Go Hogs.
All right. That's Bubba Carpenter.
The
Former
best.
Razorback.
The
Former
best.
pro. And now
And now
on the,
shower beer connoisseur.
That's right. Dude, the Bubba, think about it. I'm picturing like a silver can with like black typeface, the Bubba Carpenter shower beer.
Bubba beer.
Bubba beer. There you go. Like Billy beer.
Right. Well, let's not go that far.
Yo, I got to get on this shower beer craze. It's sweeping the country apparently, and we're on the sidelines just
We're just
letting it go
yeah,
by.
Just
here.
letting it.
That's
a
right.
Bubba beer.
Bubba beer. There you go. Hey, busr.com is the place to go to bet on all the games. They've got a sports book, race book, live casino. Bets are safe, fun, and secure. So go there right now. ESPN Arkansas listeners qualify for an exclusive 100% deposit bonus. Deposit $100, get $100 added to your account. Deposit $500, they'll add $500 to your account, etc. Go to busr.com/morning rush. busr.com/morning rush. Bet with confidence. Bet with busr.com. It's your drive home powered by
Partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, including updated odds on the NBA playoffs, fights, and even next season's futures. And don't forget that the MLB is back as well. Who are you picking to win the World Series? BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to join and use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.